next segment, that is a panel discussion. It's a second one, which will be a short discussion of about 15 to 20 minutes. So let me welcome our speakers on stage. The topic they are going to discuss here is connectivity and V2X communication addressing India's infrastructure challenges. So for which I'm requesting the speaker, Mr. Shyam Sundar, Senior Analyst, Frost and Sullivan's Mobility Research Practice. You are requesting on stage, sir. So let me brief about our speaker as well. So Mr. Shyam Sundar is a Senior Analyst at Frost and Sullivan's Mobility Research Practice, leveraging over 10 plus years of experience with Daimler and Volvo across key strategic functions. His areas of focus are advanced driver assistance systems, that is ADAS, software-defined vehicles, that is SDVs, alternative powertrains, connected mobility, and V2X technologies with a deep understanding of emerging automotive trends. So with this, we have one more speaker. So I would like to call upon Mr. Dr. Avinash Gowda. So Dr. Avinash Gowda is the Head of Department, Technology ADAS, Gensol EV. You are requested, sir. So Avinash Gowda is a seasoned professional with more than 2 decades of experience in business and technical leadership roles. Currently, as Head of ADAS at Gensol EV, he leads the development of advanced driver assistance systems, focusing on enhancing vehicle safety. So, and the last speaker, so who's going to join now is Dr. Santosh Reddy. So, you are most welcome, sir. So, Dr. Santosh Reddy is a technical officer, TiHAN IIT, Hyderabad. So, Dr. Santosh Reddy serves as the Hub Executive Officer at TiHAN IIT, Hyderabad, with extensive expertise in autonomous navigation for ground vehicles. During his post-doctoral fellowship at IIT Hyderabad, he specialized in vision-based autonomous navigation. He also led a major autonomous navigation project for Suzuki over 3 years. His research interests include autonomous navigation, multimodal transportation systems, computer vision, deep learning, vision-based navigation, self-driving cars, and edge-based autonomous navigation for software-defined vehicles. He holds a BTech and MTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from JNTU Hyderabad and a PhD in Electrical Engineering from IIT Hyderabad. So speakers, over to you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know this is the panel just before the lunch, but we are going to make it very interesting because we have 2 doctorates here, Dr. Avinash and Dr. Santosh. Welcome again. So I'm going to jump into the topic right into it. So Dr. Avinash, you represent Gensol EV. We want to talk about the V2X, how it is actually evolving in India, and also how ADAS is also playing a role in it. You focus on urban mobility primarily, right? We want to hear some of the opening statements from your side. What are some of the challenges do you see in India right now with regards to V2X and ADAS for urban mobility to start with?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. Is it audible? Oh, yeah. V2X, I have been in ADAS for almost about 2 decades now, and mostly I have seen working on sensors like cameras and radars and ultrasonics. But is there something really beyond these sensors also doing the sensing? So we have started researching more on can driver himself be a sensor? So then how do we look at it? And then is the environment also contributing as a sensor? How do we look at it? So that becomes the point of view when we are talking about V2X. So then the infrastructure developments related to maps where we are localizing ourselves in the entire world, and how are we looking at these maps, and are these maps accurate enough? So these are some of the challenges that we are right now looking at. And when we are looking driver themselves as a sensor, everyone has their own traits, the driving patterns, driving traits. But most commonly when we are on the road, there are certain common traits also. is that able to be depicted and used as a sensor? Even in the previous talk, we were talking, the speakers, they were talking about, is there a way to optimize and reduce the number of sensors they were talking? Yes, probably, yes, it is possible. For example, driver monitoring system, everyone is talking about the inward facing cameras, looking at the driver, whether he's attentive or not. But is there a way, by looking at the patterns of the driver himself, whether he's constantly drifting out of the lane and alerting that, or can that pattern be depicted as inattentive driving patterns so that it can be mapped onto driver drowsiness or whatever? It can be classified as inattentive driving patterns. So yes, many such problems can be identified and many optimizations can be done. So when all of these sensors, they come and play together, use of the V2X technologies will definitely come into picture. And going beyond, we should also look at the infrastructure also contributing to these sensor detections, basically. Whether there is a proper road marking or the road itself is a proper road, or is it an off track, and are there algorithms which are doing its job, where even where there is no path, you can be able to identify a path and try and navigate through it. So these are some of the challenges that can also be looked upon in conditions like in India, where the infrastructure is not really contributing. And that is when we are looking at the road contribution and also the signage. So is there a smart sign systems which can contribute, which is, for example, like a traffic sign, traffic light, is there something that can optimize so that you can drive seamlessly on a road and still be reducing the consumption of the fuel or optimizing your better drivability experiences? So these probably from the sign development as well, sign infrastructures can also help in contributing it. And of course, regulations, they are always there, which plays a major role in contributing for the optimization of the V2X experience. But of course, by all of it, even the awareness of the driver also contributes to the major, one of the major contributor for the V2X experience, because gadget is there, you should be knowing how to use it, or else the rules are there, you're still driving on a no entry road. So this will affect not only your driving experience, but also the others who are on the road participants, basically, other road participants also. So yeah, a lot to do in Indian scenario.
So by listing challenges, you also talked about potential that could actually come into the market early on. One quick example which I wanted to cite is from another industry, which is the quick commerce and the food delivery. Zomato as a company, they do have this platform called Weather Union. We always talk about infrastructure challenges. I don't have a lot of data, but one example we could actually cite for is Zomato, where they developed this Weather Union, where they open sourced all the weather data and other data by installing low-cost sensors throughout the city because they need the data. And any vehicle manufacturer wants to use those API, it's free, because I've tried out my own. Do you see such private players developing solutions, or within the industry such solutions coming up for V2X instead of depending on, let's say, a government body or a private-public partnership bodies? Do you see such a potential coming up in the market in the next 10 years?
Absolutely, yes. Because the V2X, it's just, or rather, consortium is still getting formed, or the standardization has not yet happened there. So everyone is working on it in their own ways and contributing in the public space. So yes, definitely, when an OEM per se, they pick up certain solutions, they pack up certain features which is needed for the user, and then they market it accordingly. But yeah, if what is available in the market, it will be seen. But what is to be done, they will come as disruptions. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Dr. Santosh, over to you. Just want to hear some of the opening statements, and also there was a statement before made in some of the panel or a presentation where they said autonomous is like 15, 20 years away for India, but your institution actually is working on projects towards autonomous vehicles. You have also partnered with Comstar on various technologies. So could you include that and also make your opening statement with regards to how V2X is going to play out, and also a bit about cybersecurity, because you specialize in cybersecurity in automotive. So we'd like to hear about that as well.
Sure. In coming to CV2X, like we have in-house developed OBU at RSUs. We had partnered to have this hardware with CDAC Hyderabad. We collaborated and we came up with very unique hardware. We also opened this as a transfer of technology to the ITS, Intelligent Transportation System manufacture companies. And recently we signed an MOU with two of the companies to make it broader expansion. So we are coming up with as a development of CV2X for a green corridor path. We targeted 3 cities, Hyderabad, Bangalore and Delhi. So which we are in discussion with the hospitals, like where the traffic light, intelligent traffic light controller we can integrate with the roadside unit, which can communicate with the emergency vehicles which are coming in that path, so that it will save the time to reach to the hospitals, nearby hospitals. This is one of the unique project we collaborated with the ITS Forum team and the CDAC Hyderabad, CDAC Trivandrum. So currently we deployed this for the 2 junctions in Hyderabad. Very soon we are going to expand for 10 to 20 junctions. So that with this, we are taking as a baby step to how the CV2X can be initiated and can be taken further for the real-time deployment. This is one of the challenge. Currently, we have the infrastructure which is not supporting to the hardware which roadside unit which we have to deploy. So there we are some modifications we are doing with in discussions with companies. And coming to autonomous navigation, TiHAN works on aerial vehicles and ground vehicles. Recently, we also, as mentioned, we collaborated with Comstar for the to develop an indigenous drones. We collaborated to get some motors for the drones. So we are working on end-to-end multimodal transportation system from last mile connectivity. So we are getting, recently we also demonstrated same technologies in CES 2025. From there only we got initiation about the Comstar discussion to take it further. So we are in discussions to make an indigenous drones. And coming to autonomous navigation, we deployed a campus shuttle in our campus around 1.5 years back. We got a very good response, like everyone got experienced who are stepping inside the IITH campus. Everyone got a flavor of how the autonomous vehicles can be driven in India. So at least in the controlled environments, we are able to deploy. And currently today also our campus shuttle is deployed in AP Secretariat, which we are demonstrating to the AP CM very soon. So there we are also, AP government is very much interested to deploy in airport and municipal corporations and railway stations. Coming to CV2X application, also in Hyderabad we got a very good response from the hospitals. So we are very soon going to deploy at different 10 locations.
All right, that's pretty much interesting, especially given the green corridor use case which you spoke about. Another use case, I've visited a couple of deep mines around the world, and what I probably see is the safety is one thing which is challenging, and it's in closed environment. Do you see a potential for an autonomous and a fully connected vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-infrastructure connected being applied to Indian mines so that we could actually have more safer operations and more autonomous trucking? There is one Indian OEM that is actually trying out. Do you see any such projects coming up? And if so, what could be some of the use cases other than this?
So in vehicle to vehicle also, like we demonstrated multiple use cases in our test track. We have very unique test facility center inside IITH campus, which is spreaded across 9 acres of land. There we also deployed multiple make of OBUs and RSUs, where we can test the interoperability test in between the OBU and OBU, OBU and RSU. So we vehicle to vehicle and vehicle to infrastructure communication use cases we have been demonstrated very high, like when the pedestrian is trying to cross, or if there is any blind spot, how the vehicle is communicating with the other vehicle, traffic congestion in terms of safety. All these use cases already we have been tested and validated. So currently these use cases all we are demonstrating to the OEMs and the tier 1 companies to take it further in terms of transfer of technology.
All right, thank you. Over to you, Dr. Avinash. You also are into solar energy, and you have EVs. Do you see a potential of where an electric truck or an electric car who wants to charge in a renewable energy, let's say solar, do you see that connection happening from the grid to the batteries or storage, or for the cars, overall charging network infrastructure? Is your company working on such things, and are there any examples out there which you could actually cite where you combine all these renewable energy and also V2X as well as your EVs together?
Yeah, I'll take a shot at this because it is slightly away from my forte. However, yes, in the V2X domain, the other X part of it can also be the grid, where vehicle to grid communication happens for optimizing the charge location detections and how far away the next charging with the current amount of charge we have in our current vehicle. So these kind of research and trials are happening in our work, but not really from the truck perspective. And also Gensol EV is a subsidiary of the Gensol group, which is more of solar power, but we are working separately. So, but yes, from the V2 grid, vehicle to grid communication part of it, yes, we are researching on other aspects. How optimized can we drive the roads and reach our destinations, and how many breaks and such things are.
Okay, Dr. Santosh, we are talking about a lot of data between cars, between the infrastructure, which means that there is also a privacy aspect of it, and also to do with automotive cybersecurity. India, unfortunately, may not have the strongest cybersecurity laws. However, the data protection bill that is upcoming also mentions some of its aspects, but it does not define automotive in specific. Where do you see the challenge in implementing? Do you see OEMs not taking the critical steps in ensuring the data of the customers, or rather the infrastructure players not taking it seriously? Because we also do have an adversary threats because of our, the lot of data that is getting out there on the internet. So in that sense, could you brief about how cybersecurity is playing out, especially in this V2X aspect?
So coming to data privacy, like currently we have, all the OEMs have their own specific CAN protocols, like we cannot access the complete vehicle ECUs. So in terms of security, like even in communication protocol, like there are some discussions to have a dedicated slice for the communication for the automotive vehicles. So in this regard, like it needs lot of security and privacy, otherwise it can lead to some fatal incidents. So we are also working on the regulatory frameworks to come up with some frameworks to avoid the issues what we are going to get in terms of cyber security. So currently I can say we are taken as a baby steps to work on this. It's very early R&D we are working on that part.
All right. Dr. Avinash, you also focus heavily on urban mobility. In that case, are we seeing an evolution of low-cost ADAS, as mentioned in other panels? With respect to EVs especially, do you see an evolving trend of low-cost ADAS being adapted for very chaotic urban markets?
Absolutely, yes, because the first segment of our vehicle, it's a trike, reverse trike. So we are keeping it targeting to the college students segment which can address the college students, or it can also address as a second car in a house. At the same time, also give premium features. So we have to look at how can we reduce the cost in all the aspects. Obviously, using high-end sensors will increase the cost. So we have to think about how do we optimize by reducing the cost. For example, earlier I told about driver behavior, using driver behavior itself as a sensor to predict many of the use cases like driver attentiveness or driver distractedness, you can call, or drowsiness, whatever you can call. That's one such use case which we can use, as well as try to see there is a need of constrained parking in urban scenario. So we have to look at what are the features with the constrained parking and what are the bare minimum or less cost-effective solutions. Can we solve it with ultrasonics itself? So park assist with ultrasonics only, or is it stop and go application, then radar only stop and go? Try to reduce the number of costs and still by reducing the sensors and work on it. So we don't need, in the urban scenario, this targeted segment, they work within city limits. They don't usually go out on the highways. So try to bring in those features and provide those features which are usable by the users, rather than just load with a lot of sensors and then not using all the time. It's just adding on to the cost of the vehicle, which is again taking away our entry to the segment, entry to the market.
So in Europe, some markets use the predictive cruise control that uses a lot of high definition maps. In India, the lane marking or the road marking in itself is not there, right? So in that case, do you see, you also mentioned about the role of map data is not being accurate. What is being done in the industry? I can see European players buying a map company like here, where the three automotive giants own it. Why is India not doing anything specific to mapping to solve that problem?
Hello. Yeah. India is also working on the maps. So we are also exploring on how can we use maps also as a sensor rather than using a set of other sensors. So in that sense, we do have, but again, we can leave the research of the maps for the tier ones of the map providers. And then we focus more on aggregating it into the V2X systems, where sensor fusion happens with the help of camera, radar, ultrasonics, maps, driving patterns, and so on and so forth. That's how we take the decisions with what best sensors we can use, and then optimize for the set of features that we are bundling up with the vehicle. That's how we look at it.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Avinash. Dr. Santosh, one final question to you is that we talk about smart cities, and smart cities serve people, but also they do serve other infrastructure. Where do you see the trend going up of this V2X getting integrated within the smart cities? Could you cite some examples other than the green corridor which you cited? Where is the evolution happening, and where do you think that would actually take the market, especially within automotive context?
Okay, I just want to add one more point to the previous discussion. So when we also started developing a perception stack specific to India, when we started adopting to the European and US datasets, none of the datasets when we used algorithms developed was not working for Indian scenarios. And coming to low-cost solution, again we have to target a low-cost sensors like camera, all this for the ADAS or AV. So then we started developing our own stack using our own data sets. In that regard, then we started collecting a fusion data and we developed an algorithm, then it started working. Coming to low-cost solution like camera, it always have challenges like glare and night conditions all. So there we developed an adverse weather conditions in India. We can see at different locations. At same time, we have adverse weather conditions. Somewhere now maybe snowfall, somewhere rain, all these conditions. So we came up with very unique stack development where it will works in all weather conditions. Now today also our data collection vehicle is collecting some fog data in IIT Jammu. So that way we are making more robust algorithm that such that it can also globally can be adopted to any other country also. So this is the main uniqueness of Indian scenarios. And coming to Indian scenarios in terms of use cases, like we have different driver behavior patterns where it can be easily adopted to the other traffic rules and regulations who are following. And coming to deployment of CV2X or on autonomous vehicles immediately, in any controlled environments like smart cities are like, we are from IIT Hyderabad, like in our campus, we started deploying these technologies, at least with our campus shuttles, which are around 6 vehicles we deployed. So in the controlled environments, I can promise in next 3 to 5 years, we can see some good productive use cases in terms of deployment. Coming to civilian or commercialization outside, infrastructure need to be changed. So we developed an hardware. We are trying to come up with more number of use cases and potential failures where the system is failing. So in that regard, I can say like now only we are signed an MOUs with the intelligent transportation system companies to take it to the next level in terms of mass production. So we are also testing an interoperability testing with global providers who are supplying in terms of OBU and RSU in terms of IP of software and the hardware. So I can say like maybe next two years, it can be commercialized and it can be used in larger scale.
Actually, it's a very good question. So what level we are when we say we don't have the calibration for levels of V2X, you can say. Like we have L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 for ADAS, but not really demarcated for V2X. So at the moment, I think this is a very valid question. We have to start thinking of what level of maturity we have in V2X. It is right time to calibrate it. Because we have in bits and pieces, many companies are working on it. Some are retrofitted, some are, they come with the vehicle we buy. Yeah, it's a very thought-provoking question. It's high time that we calibrate it with the levels of V2X.
And second question is, we should have some strategic goal with respect to India for V2X. So can you elaborate that? Any goal you think we should have for this technology, specific to India? Like infrastructure challenges already we have, and currently in all across the globe, we are talking about, and we are not talking about B2X, means bike to everything is not talked about. It's mainly vehicle to vehicle or vehicle to infrastructure. So as India in penetration of two-wheeler is more than cars. So like, would you or anybody is considering two-wheeler also into this V2X communication?
Yeah, actually, in the past, I've also worked in a drone company, so I know about this. So just like V2X, drone to X also is coming up. Why not bikes? V is just a vehicle, so it could be a bike or a car also. So it can be also a truck or whatever. So yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.